Hey, this is Kyle Cease, and I don't even know what I'm on here to talk about. I think it'll just reveal itself as I keep talking. In fact, um, right when I thought that, I said it'll reveal itself. My mind was like, now it won't. I'm going to come up with a way to make it not. But I believe those sabotaging thoughts come in all the time. But if we just are cool with it or we just say it, that makes them not have their power over us. If you're on stage and you're nervous, just say you're nervous, and then that frees it. That's why we keep journals. That's why we keep diaries. If you're on stage and you're scared, just say, I'm scared, and then the audience will be with you. And I think that we've lived our lives so much just trying to achieve, and that's not how life works. I was playing Monopoly with my fiance Amanda, and we were playing, and at one point, one of us would get really happy if we had a lot of money, and then one of us would get really sad if we had no money. And then at one point she goes, I quit. And we quit playing, and all of a sudden life wasn't stressful anymore. But it's weird, when I thought that I was playing Monopoly, I thought that I was a part of this game, that my body stressed based on how much Monopoly money I had, not even real money. And that's how much we can enter into something that's not real. And if we can get into a game of Monopoly and stress if the money's up or the money's down, and be really euphoric if it's up, what do you think we're doing in our whole life? We're stressing unnecessarily about everything. And all kinds of little thought forms show up that we think are a real thing, like you'll miss a person, you'll be like, oh, I really miss that person in my life. No, you're just in this moment having resistance to a thought form. Like, you don't miss that person, it's a thought. You're having a thought. You don't even know the person. Yes, you met the person, and then the person did stuff, and then that formed a bunch of thoughts in your head, and you got addicted to those thoughts. And it's funny how much we do that with everything. We're addicted to thinking that we need to get something, we need to achieve something. How can I have the greatest stand-up set tonight? How can I make a ton of money? Well, why do you want a bunch of money? Because then I'll be able to achieve stuff. Then I'll be able to buy a bunch of stuff that distracts me from my mind, these annoying thoughts that I have. Because if you're not in a clear flowing mind, you're going to have bad thoughts all day. But if you don't realize you have bad thoughts all day, then you have nothing to fix. You're just sitting here stressing, and you don't realize there's a place where you can just understand that they're thoughts. And people are living their lives insane. Like, living all day mad about something that's not now. They're literally going, it's crazy. Yesterday, I went through this thing, and they're re-mad about it. They're like, then that guy cut me off and everything. It pisses me off so much, and it's so annoying. And they're reliving it right now. Like, they're actually reliving it right now. Like, they're in this day, in this moment, re-feeling that same stress. Just like the same way that we feel the stress when we have no Monopoly money. Like, here we are with something, but you can tell Monopoly's not real. But if you take a second, you look at it, you'll see that that thing isn't real too. You're in this moment reliving that past moment. And then we'll do it with future moments, right? We'll be like, I have this thing coming up. I'm scared. I'm really worried about this thing with my taxes, or this thing coming up. And we will be in the future, and we'll miss this moment. And we'll sit here and prepare for this thing coming up in a stressed way. We'll create in our mind how it could go bad. We'll literally sit here right now and go, here's how this thing in the future could go bad. And we'll come up with all these beautiful visions of ways to fix it, or ways that there's a problem, and then ways to fix the problem. The thing hasn't even happened yet. Sometimes we won't even fix the problem. We'll just go, it's really bad. It's getting worse and worse. I'm going to screw up over here. And we don't realize we're just creating the thoughts. And then we're reacting to the thoughts by stressing, by running away, by not doing the thing, it's so nuts. We're sitting here creating a thought about a thing in the future and then defending ourselves from that thought. And that's how we're living our lives. And because of that, we're in our head all day and we're holding on to past thoughts. And that's when this guy hit me, and that's when that guy yelled at me, and that's when my boss fired me. We hold it in this moment. We're sitting here like this, just holding it. And then we'll go, I gotta do this thing, or I gotta overcome it. So we're in the future too. So our mind's here and here all the time. And in this moment, nothing's happening. And then when we finally go through the thing, we're not in that moment. Because let's say the thing coming up we were worried about, we do good at. Let's say you have the most amazing Comedy Central special. Let's say you have the most amazing um, achievement on the planet. You get the job of your dreams, whatever. Now, your mind, since it's been practicing being in the future, it's not going to enjoy that. It's just going to go, now what? In fact, if anything, when you get the thing, you'll be happy and on a big high for a few minutes, and then, or a couple days or whatever, and then eventually you're like, now what? Because you were under the impression that that thing in the future is what fulfills you, and it's not. It's not what fulfills you. It's just that nothing outside of you can fulfill you. No achievement, anything. That's why relationships don't last, because we think that person will fulfill us. We go, this person is going to make me happy. Well, if that person makes you happy, then if that's the thing that makes you happy, if your happiness is based out here, then you're dependent on everything that person does. And that's why we try to control them. That's why we try to control everything. And we try to make sure that they don't do what we've decided that they have to do to keep us being happy. So that's why we sit here and go, don't go out and have lunch with that guy, or don't do that, or I don't think you should do this. That's our mistake of thinking that this thing outside of us is what makes us happy, or this job, or this achievement, or this body. If I can get this body fit, then I'll be happy. No, you'll just be going, what's next? And the truth is, if you instead can just get cool with this moment, and there's a lot of people that talk about this, and I think more and more people are realizing that. Luckily, things are getting so crappy everywhere that you have to get into the moment because it's too overwhelming. There's just too many crappy things happening. There's crazy companies trying to take over us, and there's so many things. So we're going to an achiever mode right now where we're starting to realize we can come together and fight that thing. But more and more and more, I think that you'll start to realize everything is as it is. All this stuff that's happening with Monsanto and all these companies that we're mad at right now and we're protesting, that's supposed to happen so that we'll wake up. I don't want to say it's supposed to happen like the universe. I'm just saying, like, a good thing that's happening with that is we're waking up and fighting it. And maybe, the only way to achieve something, or the only way to actually grow and go through this, is to be against the wall hard enough. You can't get there just from meditating. You can't get there from that thing. You have to first be against the wall and you have to be under the illusion that that thing is what fulfills you. You have to be thinking that this person is what fulfills you. And then finally, when they screw up or they leave you, then you're just like, you have to let go of them. And when you let go of them, you kind of have this matrixy moment where you let go of a lot of things. You let go of addictions. If you're holding on to them, you're also holding on to foods and stuff. You might even realize that a lot of the foods you like are the same foods you liked when your mom took you to when you were a kid or whatever. And it's like you're holding on to that need to be loved. It's not even the food. And it's crazy because we do this with everything. And we hold on to a story from our childhood, and then we hold on to everything. And it's so stressful to hold on to everything. It's so much work. Like, I was thinking about different, and I support anything everyone does, but like when like hardcore evangelistic Christian associations like hate gay people, like they just hate them. That's weird because it's just so stressful for you. You're mad based on what other people do. How weak are you if what other people does controls you? If you're like, oh, I can't believe that another guy is doing that, or I can't believe that this person is doing this thing. I mean, your happiness is dependent on anything outside of you. And if you have that specific of rules that all gay people can't exist, you're going to live your life pissed because they're going to do what they do. And we're just sitting here crazy stressed, just crazy, like mad that other people are doing something. It's weird how many things we can control but we don't, but how many things we can't control but try to. And our stress comes from trying to control everything. And the second you let go of that control, you actually get your own control. You find this you that isn't happy based on what other people do, that isn't happy based on who you get, that isn't happy based on your achievements. You find this thing and you get cool with whatever happens. And when you're cool with whatever happens, you don't have to prove yourself to people. You don't have to get other things to be happy. You're just cool. But here's the weirdest part. When you're at this place, you get all those things because you don't need them. And so you become more powerful. But when you really need something, you become really weak. When you go on a date with someone and you're like trying to get them, you get so like, oh, I gotta get you, so that makes you weak. Have you ever had it where you're just normal and you're cool, but then you see someone that's really attractive and you get weak? You were totally whole in your mind before that person walked by. You were totally complete. And then a person walks by and you see them and you suddenly feel incomplete because your mind goes, I need that person to be happy. So if you're saying I need that person to be happy, you start to feel that I'm not complete without them. So you literally see them and go, oh my God, I have to have them. And you get into half of you. You become half of you, and that's why you suddenly go on a date with someone you like, and you're like, do you want to get anything? And you're like explaining yourself, and you're not able to just be, and you're not, because you're under a thought that that person is real, or that person is real, but you're under a thought that that person fulfilling you is real, and that you're not whole without that person. And that's the insanity of this life. This life is so insane. This life that we have, we're all in a cage in our own brain, and we don't know it. And the trick to getting out of that is that realization. Just being aware of that. Because now you're aware of it. If you watch this video, you're aware of that now, if you understood what I meant. And if you're aware of it, then it goes away. It'll start to go away because you see it. You'll be like, I want that girl. And be like, oh, that's a thought. And then it's not as powerful. And then you might be like, oh, it didn't work. And that's a new thought coming in a new moment, feeling guilty that you didn't do it right. Because I'll work with people. Sometimes I work with students and I'll say that and then they'll go, oh, so I should, damn it, I screwed up. Now they're in this moment feeling guilty because they didn't get it yet. Just let go of all of it. And then there's an ego part that goes, so how long do I let go? Like for a day? Like how do I let go for a few months? And then that's also ego. That's the part of you that thinks you need to achieve. Just let go. And then a new thing will come in. You just keep letting go. It's almost like you sit down in a pond of water. If the waves were doing this, the only way to get them calm is to sit still. I think that was in the Tao Te Ching. If you just sit still, the waves start chilling. And if you just be okay with them. But we're fixing our problems like this. It'd be like if you sat in the water and the waves were going and we're just hitting the waves. And we're sitting here hitting waves trying to stop it. Like, I got to get this person back. I got to fix this wave. We aren't fixing the real thing. I got to get this job. I got to get the person back. I got this thing. We're just hitting waves and making it worse because we haven't fixed ourselves. And that's what consciousness means. Like Einstein said, you can't fix a problem with the same level of consciousness that created it. So if you're at this level of consciousness and then you make all these waves and you're trying to fix it, that's why relationships get rocky and then they aren't fixed because a person's not developing themselves. And then the byproduct of whatever happens to that is whatever. You end up with a different person. You might end up alone, but that's okay because you don't need anyone to be happy. So I think I'll stop here, but that's just some thoughts on life and how easy it is to just let go and feel good and not hate everything and be okay. So thanks so much. Oh, I'm having a seminar, by the way, April 28th through the 30th, and I'll be talking about this stuff. And please, if you're interested, you can write me at kylecease@yahoo, but only come if you're interested and really interested. I really believe in what I'm talking about, and I don't want, whatever happens will happen, but really come if you're interested in it, and you're really interested in learning more about this stuff. But kylecease@yahoo, it'll be April 28th through the 30th at the John Lovitz Comedy Club. So thanks a lot.